What's up, guys? Ted Rath coming back to you for our weekly NFL tips. Once again, I'm using my 16 years of experience in the NFL as a strength and conditioning coach, performance director, all those things that I learned over the years to bring you tips, bring you some of the news that's going on specifically around injuries this week in the NFL. So let's get after it so you can follow your team, follow your fantasy teams. First off, this player is going to be an important one. Had a big week last week, especially for you fantasy owners, Alvin Kamara. So what does this mean this week? He's going against a very stifling defense in Atlanta. Raheem Morris has done a fantastic job. So part of that, stay tuned till the end. I'm going to tell you my tips, whether you should sit him or start him, but this is an interesting one. He's just banged up, had a very physical game last week, hips and ribs. So he's coming through. He did practice more as the week continued. So this is going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on. Now let's get into some of these quarterbacks. Justin Herbert, high ankle sprain, specifically on the right side for a right-handed quarterback. This is an interesting one. Why? That rotational complexity. So when he puts force into the ground from that back foot to go through his throwing mechanics, that is a huge consideration here. The other side of this, mobility. He's going against a crazy defense with Steve Spagnuolo and what he's always been able to do in Kansas City. Phenomenal defensive coordinator. He's going to come after him. He's going to send blitz packages. He's going to put pressure on him. So mobility is going to be a huge issue. He tried to go last week and then ended up not being able to go. So did he re-aggravate it? Did he make it a little bit worse? This is an interesting injury because you will get those moments where it does bite. It hurts. He's going to have to deal and fight through pain if he's going to try to give it a go, if the team's willing to let him do that again this week. Another one, two interesting quarterbacks going against each other. Let's start with Sam Darnold. He's playing. He's already been listed as in. There's no injury designation. He's got probably a very mild MCL, maybe a very light sprain from the mechanism of how that injury looked, and he might be dealing with a little bit of a bone bruise. That's just pain tolerance. Mobility is not the name of his game, so he should be able to go in, and it's going to be a great game, great atmosphere there, Green Bay versus Minnesota. Let's go to the other side, Jordan Love. He's listed as questionable again. Once again, NFL injury designations, that's 50-50. Flip a coin. Is he going to go? He's right at that moment now where they did IR him. He would have had to sit out that 4 weeks. They chose not to IR him because they were targeting last week or this week as a return. Is he going to go? If he does, here's the consideration, and here's what you have to think about. Mobility is going to be impacted. And once again, that defense, you don't think Brian Flores is thinking about that? He's going to send some blitz packages. He's going to try to get exotic. He's going to move Jordan around. They prepared for both him and Malik. So I think defensively, the Vikings are probably going to have a good plan. So that's going to be an interesting one. Team tip. This is a big one. The Raiders are dealing with significant firepower loss on the offensive side and the defensive side. Max Crosby is doubtful. You look at that impact alone, because the Browns on the opposite side are dealing with some injuries from their offensive tackle. That helps them tremendously if they do not have to worry about Max Crosby being at his best, if he goes at all, but he's listed as doubtful. I bet he's going to be out. And then Devontae Adams is out on the offensive side. So you look at the Raiders, I think they're going to struggle. The Browns are probably going to come in there. Maybe their offense gets back on track. So you fantasy owners, if you do have some of those players, let's take a look at that team, that unique matchup. Now, start them or sit them. Alvin Kamara, I'm going to start him for his impact in the passing game. Why? They are violent, the Falcons, in the run game. They're going to stop them. They're probably going to be able to shut them down. So what do you do to counteract that? You're going to have to try to throw some of the short stuff. You're going to get them involved in screen games, and you're going to get them out into open space. I think he's going to have an impact in the game through the passing game. So fantasy owners, keep an eye on that one. We started to look at Herbert. I'm going to sit him. I think the Kansas City defense, if he does try to go, Spagnuolo is going to bring those exotic blitzes. It's going to be a tough day for him, especially because that pain is going to continue to come in off and on through that rotational complexity, not only just throwing, but trying to move within the pocket and avoid. Sam Darnold, I'm going to start him. I think he's ready to go. I think you look at what he's going to be able to do. That's going to be a unique matchup. I'm really excited to watch this game. Jordan Love, if he's active, I'm starting him. I think he's going to come back. I think Matt LaFleur is going to dial it up. I'm really excited to watch that game. That's going to be a great matchup between the Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. Hit like, hit subscribe. Keep coming back. Keep spending time enjoying these football games. This is going to be a great week.